I think in this, I don't know, this weird sort of age that we're in, look, it didn't start like recently, but it is something that has amplified. This is something that's escalated in which people are trying to present themselves, despite whatever the reality is, as these people that are kind of doing things and they're brave themselves, right? It's this kind of false victimhood that has to get created in order for them to be able to present themselves as, of course, the heroes, to say, look at me, all the odds were against them. And again, that's not to say that there aren't things that folks are going to struggle with, but to act as if something is something that it's not is the issue of what we have in terms of what we're going to discuss. Now, before I get going, though, I do want to remind you all that at rippaverse.com /store, you can visit the store, 15% off on all merchandise items. And if you spend $75 or more, we're going to waive the shipping for domestic orders. So the hat has now been added. The both shirts, the Rippaverse shirt and the ISOM shirt, as well as both posters, all of those are available to you. You can get them 15% off. We're also guaranteeing that you can get it by Christmas if you order by the 16th. So thank you guys so much for the support there. But today we're going to talk about this right here. And it's this conversation that happened with Jennifer Lawrence and Viola Davis. And matter of fact, let's just do this. Let's just go watch the video real quick, because it says everything that I need to kind of emphasize. We can just, instead of reading it, let's just watch it, see it.
I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. We were told, girls and boys,
stop.
Let's start
right there. Okay. So Hunger Games came out, how long ago was that? That was like a roughly a decade or so ago, give or take. So not that long ago. This is 2010s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, maybe late 20. I know this says 2012, but I can't remember if that is if that's accurate. But nonetheless, I know it was like a decade or so. And this person is saying that they were told, I don't know who they and we and all these people that they try to paint as the evil, mean people that tell them that they can't do something. But let's just hear it one more time.
Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie.
Okay, so nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of the action story. Okay, so we're going to let her finish. She has some more stuff that she wants to say about that. But just think about that for you guys that have been around the block. You don't even need to be as that old, right? I was born in the 90s, and I know better, right? So definitely you guys that have been around the block, you know that you have to be completely oblivious to make a statement like that. That women, in terms of being a lead in an action movie or a prominent character in an action movie, we've seen that multiple times prior to Hunger Games, and both the cinematic aspect as well as like video games and what have you. But let's let her finish before we get into it.
Because it wouldn't work. We were told girls and boys can both identify with a male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead.
Oh, absolutely.
And it just makes me so happy every single time I see a movie come out that just blows through every single one of those beliefs and proves.
Okay, so this is a self-imposed kind of barrier that you have, right? Because you're like, all these movies are coming through and blows through that. Well, if this supposed idea were the case, then it wouldn't like kind of break through, right? That's because it's a falsehood. Now, there are elements that folks can't relate to, and maybe you hyperemphasize one or the other aspect, but as far as what makes people and what makes folks heroic, something that some folks can aspire to be, that is not contained to let's say this, it can resonate with folks on different levels, no matter where they fit within that culture. So whether they're a woman or a man or any of that, there are universal truths. And I think where Hollywood has lost, and just the fact that she's this oblivious, despite this, we already seeing evidence of that, is that because they're like so not human, right? A lot of what makes a Hollywood actor or actress is that they're like manufactured in a lot of cases, which is why they don't even know how to resonate with people. So maybe this does, in her own mind, may be the case, but to regular people, like, yeah, of course there are people that can find something to resonate with in terms, even though the hero of the story may not be of their ilk, may be a different gender, may be a different race, ethnic background, whatever, and yet you can still resonate. This is the case or the point that so many of us have been making. So this barrier that she's kind of acting as if it exists is something that is completely self-imposed.
That it is just a lie to keep certain people out of the movies, to keep certain people in the same positions that they've always been in.
What are you talking about, Jennifer Lawrence?
To watch it happen and watch you at the helm.
Man, like, and I don't know if she's talking about watching her at the helm with the Woman King thing, because I don't know if anybody would saw that. Then that thing go lose money nonetheless. Like, what are you talking about? Let me show you something. Of course, the creative, social media manager of Rippaverse did a great job of just compiling multiple posts under this variety deal of female heroes that we've seen in the past, right? Just showing them off here, right? Like, what are in action films? Like, what are you talking about? We've seen it multiple times. You were not the first. Not even close. Is it self-importance? Is it arrogance? Is it just flat out ignorance, right? Lacking the knowledge, because maybe you were manufactured as a Hollywood sort of actor, and you just don't know what resonates with people or not. And I think this is where they've lost. So many people have lost in Hollywood because they don't understand what people want. They don't understand what resonates with folks. So maybe it is just sheer ignorance, just straight up lack of knowledge. For you to just come out and say that, when you were doing Hunger Games and people somehow, or it was said like females, I guess, had never been in an action movie. Like, let me get the exact quote real quick, because it was something ridiculous. Hold on, we're gonna watch this here in a little bit. Hold on, let me just one last time. We'll just listen to the audio of what it is she says. Hold on, let me turn this up. This is what she said.
I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie. Yeah.
Nobody had, all right, so just oblivious. Just flat out oblivious. There's nothing more that I could say, but, you just see how really disconnected Hollywood is from just regular people. They don't know what regular people like, and they have these things that are just straight up figments of their imagination. And it may be something that's even more nefarious, where they're trying to present themselves as heroic for breaking some sort of barrier, even though that barrier, again, is self-imposed. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.